The KEEL.
Good morning, 6:03, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Erin's got local news up next.
Back to school today for several parishes. We'll talk more about that. The Homeowners Association for a big subdivision in Shreveport is suing, and more violence in Shreveport over the weekend.
I heard a story, a rumor yesterday that if it bears out to be true, would change the face of Shreveport.
Oh.
I
Juicy?
Didn't say it was going to make it a better face.
Uh-oh.
And you got to tell me what I missed Friday. I guess Superintendent Gorey joined us.
Yep.
We can review. Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour, and it's right here on KEEL.
KEEL News now.
Back to school today for several parishes in the region. We talked to Caddo Superintendent Dr. Lamar Gorey about the buses. Are some of them still without air?
When you have a fleet of 350 buses, you're going to have some that don't have air conditioning. Of course, all the ones we're buying and replacing them with do have air conditioning.
Caddo, Webster, Claiborne, Sabine, Natchitoches all go back to class today. Extra patrols will be out on the roads to keep youngsters safe. The Homeowners Association for the Haven subdivision and the Briarwood apartment complex are suing the city of Shreveport. According to the suit, the city overcharged them for water and sewer services. State law says the city can only tax water consumption, but reps from the Haven say the city taxed them on all utility fees associated with their water service. They also claim they attempted to settle the matter quietly with the city, but could never get a response from the mayor's office. Mayor Ollie Tyler said in a recent forum that if something was wrong has been done, she'll look into it when she gets reelected. Strong storms knock out power to thousands. Matt Parker with that.
A strong line of thunderstorms traveling from East Texas into Louisiana knocked out power to thousands of residents in Caddo Parish Sunday night. According to SWEPCO, nearly 4,500 residents were without power. SWEPCO officials worked feverishly through the night to get the lights back on to most of its residents by 1 a.m. this morning. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
A woman killed, a boy wounded in a drive-by shooting. Crystal Kennedy killed in a drive-by Saturday night in Shreveport. According to police, the shooting happened on Redbud Lane. Archie Lee Thomas died in an accident involving a homemade go-kart. He was allegedly riding his self-built go-kart through Shreveport's Cedar Grove area when he hit a curb at a high rate of speed and was thrown into a light pole. The state's online tutoring service, homeworkla.org, is expanding hours and adding additional features that includes live tutoring, test prep, class help, and even job search assistant available. Louisiana's head librarian, Rebecca Hamilton, says it's academic assistance for anyone.
Some people need to take that ACT test or the GED to start getting in the job market. We serve people from, they say, the womb to the tomb.
You can access the services online at home with a library card number or in person at your local library. The demand for used cars is growing, so are the prices. Louisiana Auto Dealers Association's Will Green says many people are buying cars that were once leased.
Just by virtue of it being a lease, you've got a newer, high-end vehicle that's now coming on the market.
Green says that's because leases have become more common over the last 3 to 5 years. The EPA is being urged to do more about contaminants turning up in public water systems in dozens of states. The agency is holding listening sessions all around the country. And you probably suspect it. Well, now this report says it's actually happening. Google records your movements even when you explicitly tell the company not to. That's according to an exclusive report from the Associated Press. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Hi.
Nine past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Traffic update for Monday morning. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-20 eastbound's got it clear all the way to Monroe right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
Well, there's several things that are happening.
Good morning. It's 11 past 6 o'clock. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. The KEEL app is always a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. So what did I miss Friday? Wait, stop. We can do it this segment because we're going to replay Lamar Gorey.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard a rumor, and then I can't even talk about it because the temptation to tell you what I know is so great.
Oh, boy.
No. What I suspect is so great. The rumor that I heard, I just got to stop talking about it. I promise in the second segment.
Okay.
But on Friday, you and Dan talked, had a little chat with Caddo Superintendent Dr. Lamar Gorey about the beginning of a brand new school year, which is today.
Yes.
And that was where you kind of started off with Doc Gorey. You said, what's new? What's the plan? What can you tell us?
Well, there's several things that are happening. We're really excited about welcoming our 40,000 plus families back to school on Monday. The students are going to return, of course, to a school system that has certainly been sensitive to security and have certainly made some adjustments to ensure that we are as secure as possible, in the respect that parents and students will find an increased access to mental health and behavior supports, as well as we've increased our armed police officers on our campuses. Also really excited about rolling out our new Tier 1 curriculums. These curriculums have been, vetted by the state and have been proven to truly be a key part of what we'll need to take our students to the next level. And I just want to thank our teachers for giving so much of their time this summer to receive additional training so that the implementation will be as smooth as possible.
You've downsized the school system over the past several years. Let me ask you, do you anticipate anything like that, any more of that happening in the next few years, or any changes like that ahead?
What I'll say is that, over the last 13 years, we've certainly closed probably near 15 to 16 buildings. One thing you've seen in the last few years, we've made consolidations as well. So, excuse me, Erin. In our strategic plan, though, the plan now is to look at all of our vacant facilities in the next year and how we can sell those, how can we repurpose those, and making sure that we're doing things that brings value to the community. So we're really looking at our inventory now of the vacant properties and trying to ensure that we're bringing value to those properties. At the same time, we have capital projects in excess of $20 million, and so much of that's been covered with AC because of our aging fleet of schools. So that conversation around how do we provide our students with the very best educational environment, I do think that will be something that we'll talk about in 24 months. But I think next year will be about dealing with the facilities that we have. We have quite a few on the market now if you're looking for a new house.
Let me ask you, next year is going to be different. You and I have talked about this individually. The scoring of our schools is changing.
Right.
And can you boil that down so that the average Joe like me can understand what the state is changing? Because you're anticipating most, if not all, schools will see lower letter grades based on the changes, correct?
What I will tell you is that what we are, the layman term that we talk to is that, let's say you're taking a test, and today you make a 90% on the test, but the teacher decides to grade it differently, and for the exact same answers, you make a 75 on the test. So, and that's kind of what the state has done. They've looked at how they're grading the test, and that's what has changed. So for the same answers that you would have gotten maybe a A or a B for last year, you now could very easily get a C or a D or an F. I will tell you that our preliminary data, we're very encouraged with some of the preliminary things, and the only thing we have now are raw scores. We're encouraged. We're still very optimistic, and we really do need the community to know that the state has made a big change. What I promise you, though, is that we will continue to work hard every day, and just like every other time they've made changes, we will meet the mark. But again, this year, the community will need to be aware that this is a baseline year because the grading of the assessments have changed.
We have had some schools that were not making the grade before. Are we in jeopardy still of the state taking over some Caddo schools?
You only have 2 schools in the Caddo Parish of our entire fleet of 62 schools. You only have 2 schools that are eligible for state takeover. Our work in the transformation zone was extremely effective, where we did see 8 of those 10 schools come off of that eligible for state takeover list. So there are only 2 schools today that the state could even have the conversation around.
And which ones are those?
That would be Atkins and Queensboro.
And you're making efforts to turn that around, right?
Absolutely. That's what we do every day, Erin.
Okay, switching gears for just a minute, getting calls and texts this morning about type A flu outbreak, and I'm understanding that schools are now going to be offering flu shots. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's correct, Erin. We've partnered with CareDocs, and we will offer the opportunity for all employees as well as children to have a flu shot. Of course, that will be a family decision, but we're very concerned with the number of times last year that we had to close entire schools because of, the number of students infected with the flu virus. So we're certainly taking every effort to prevent that from happening. We believe in support. You have to be there and present to really grow academically. So we're really taking advantage of this opportunity to support families in, this vaccine so that we can see less occurrences of the flu in our schools.
Okay, your buddy Scott Smith rode on an unair-conditioned bus to school the other day, Wednesday, for opening day. Are you riding the bus Monday, and do we have any unair-conditioned buses left in Caddo?
Yeah, absolutely. When you have a fleet of 350 buses, you're going to have some that don't have air conditioning. Of course, all the ones we're buying and replacing them with do have air conditioning. Probably won't ride a bus to school on Monday, but look forward to seeing you and any interested citizen at Captain Shreve for our ringing of the bell ceremony. That's our official kickoff of the school year, and that's at 9 o'clock at Captain Shreve High School. We're going to do it pep rally style and really kick off an amazing school year in Caddo Parish.
Staffing, how are we on getting all the right teachers in all the right places?
Progress is being made. We welcomed over 200 plus new teachers. There are people in HR right now processing paperwork. We do anticipate improvements in that area, but that still is one of those things that keep you up at night, is really having the talent here. And that's something that we as a community have to continue to work toward. And we're certainly putting things in place as a district to decrease the number of long-term subs that we have in the classroom.
Good morning, 19 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Monday morning traffic. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Time for sports. Monday morning stuff. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Brooks Koepka won the 100th PGA Championship, his third major title and second this year. The 28-year-old has 2 U.S. Opens on his resume, but this one will be remembered mostly for who he held off for the Wanamaker Trophy. Tiger Woods shot a 64, his lowest round ever in a major, to finish second. His laser approach on 15 led to a tap-in birdie and brought him within one shot of the lead. But Koepka covered Tiger's birdie on 15 with one of his own and followed with a clinching birdie on 16. Houston's lead in the American League West is down to 2.5 games over Oakland and 4 over Seattle after the Mariners finished off a 4-game sweep of the Astros in Minute Maid Park. Edwin Diaz earned saves in all 4 games to raise his major league leading total to 46 saves. Giancarlo Stanton homered for the 5th time in the last 6 games, and CC Sabathia allowed just 1 hit in 6 innings as the Yankees blasted the Rangers 7-2 in the Bronx. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
You're just not going to believe this. 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 23 past 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Parky, are you all ears?
I am.
Miss Erin?
I'm ears away.
I heard this yesterday, and I found it so, I'll use the word interesting,
Okay.
that I made 3 texts regarding the veracity of this rumor. Mm-hmm. Of the 3 texts that I sent out to people in the know, I got responses to 2 of them. One said, yes, I have heard that, but I can't authenticate the rumor. The other one said, haven't heard a thing about that. Sounds kind of crazy to me. The 3rd text, I am still waiting for a response.
Oh, boy.
If you had to describe Shreveport in 2018, how would you describe it? What would you say about it? It probably...
one word.
What's that?
Struggling.
Mess. Fighting.
Struggling.
Looking... Okay. Parky?
Lost.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. This is the kind of thing that would get us, most likely, national news coverage to some degree. And it would not be, at least in my humble opinion, it would not be the kind of PR boost that a city in our current state would I just don't see that this would help. There are rumors, and you'll be able to tell who it is, I think, based on what I've said to this point. There are rumors that a very well-known celebrity is looking for a residence, a permanent residence, or at least part-year residence in the Shreveport area.
I've heard this.
You have?
I have.
Have you heard this?
No, but I have a guesstimation on who it may be.
You say it, you're probably right.
I think it's a lie.
OJ?
Yeah.
I think it's a lie.
Why do you think that?
I just don't think it'll happen. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Why not? He's been here 3 times in the past 6 months.
No, he likes beaches. He likes great golf.
Southern Trace. That's what I heard, that OJ is looking for a property to purchase in Southern Trace. Have you heard that? You heard that?
I have heard
Where'd
that.
you hear that? I heard it for, well, never mind where I heard it.
I'm not going to say where I heard it either.
Yeah.
But I heard that.
From someone who would, a wild stab, second generation rumor. What do you tell me?
Someone, let's just say someone in the real estate business. Let's just leave it at that.
See,
not even in the business. Someone who knows about
I
the real
contacted 3 people in the real estate business. One said, I haven't heard that, and nor would I if it were true. The other said, yeah, I've heard that, but I can't.
I think there were just some inquiries made, possibly on his behalf.
Okay, so at least then you suspect that he may, in fact, be looking into a Shreveport or Shreveport area purchase.
Yeah. Well, my question is this.
What's that?
You live in Southern Trace.
Yeah.
You want OJ next door?
Well, it's not like you can do anything about it.
No, you can't. How comfortable would that hurt Southern Trace? Would people start moving out of, and I'm not talking about black, white, I'm talking about, you got a guy who's a suspected killer living next door to you.
Found not guilty.
I understand.
If the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Well, you got convicted in the civil court, found responsible. So, half the country thinks he did it, and now he's next door.
But every time he comes to town, what's the first thing you see? Dozens upon dozens of pictures of people hanging out with OJ.
Yeah. Can I borrow a cup of sugar and a knife?
It's not exactly like people are reticent to have their photos taken with him. Matt is making a very good point.
Yeah.
I mean, you got it. I'm not sure what kind of negative response there's been in public. I haven't heard of any. I know that every time he goes out, people are lining up to have photos taken with him. Mm-hmm. Here's me and OJ. Here's me and OJ at Copeland's. Yeah. Here's me and OJ at Eastridge. Here's me and OJ at Southern Trace.
I think what probably attracts him to this area is that a home at Southern Trace, which you can get for under $500,000, would sell for $10 million in most communities he's lived in. His Brentwood home would probably be half the size of most Southern Trace Homes.
Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. I'll slow down. 318-392-1884. Have you heard this rumor? Can you help us out with it? Have you heard that OJ is shopping for real estate in Shreveport? To be more specific, Southern Trace. That's what I heard from two people this weekend. 28 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Matt and I we had not discussed, before we came in here this morning, we had not discussed our weekend dreams. And yet they are so astonishingly, wait till I tell you.
It's freaky, man.
Similar. Yeah. Tell you when we get back.
I also want to ask you this question. Donald Trump and John Bel Edwards, BFFs now?
I don't think so. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Hold on a second. I don't have it in front of me, but there was a story. Let me read the headline to you. Here it is. How Louisiana, because we have talked in reference to the mayor's race, and I've brought up a couple of times, do national issues, do national policies, specifically open border, globalism, free trade in the Democratic sense and in the Democratic Party sense, do those things matter in our mayor's race? And I get a variety of answers. Well, if you are of the mind that national issues don't matter and don't affect the Shreveport mayor's race, how about things that happen on a state level? The things that happen in Baton Rouge, the policies that take place and are implemented in Baton Rouge by the governor, or more specifically by the legislature, on policies that the governor backs, do they affect our local mayor's race, specifically the economy? That is on the way. 29 past 6 o'clock. Erin has local news up next. 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight, partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
It's back to school today for several parishes, including Caddo, Webster, Sabine, and Natchitoches. We asked Superintendent in Caddo, Dr. Lamar Gorey, about plans to improve underperforming schools.
Our work in the transformation zone was extremely effective, where we did see 8 of those 10 schools come off of that eligible for state takeover list. So there are only 2 schools today that the state could even have the conversation around.
Extra patrols will be out on the roads to keep our youngsters safe. Strong line of storms traveling from East Texas into Louisiana knocked out power to thousands of residents in Caddo Parish last night. According to SWEPCO, nearly 4,500 residents were in the dark. They worked feverishly through the night to get the lights back on to most residents by 1 a.m. this morning. A woman killed, a boy wounded in a drive-by shooting. Matt Parker with that.
Crystal Kennedy was killed in a drive-by shooting Saturday night in Shreveport. According to police, the shooting happened in the 3200 block of Redbud Lane around 9 p.m. According to reports, the gunman struck several cars in the family home as they opened fire on the neighborhood. A 12-year-old boy was shot in the leg during the incident as well. At this time, no arrests have been made in the case. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The Homeowners Association for the Haven Subdivision and the Briarwood Apartment Complex are suing the city of Shreveport. According to the lawsuit, the city overcharged them for water and sewer services. State law says the city can only tax water consumption, but reps from the Haven say the city taxed them on all utility fees associated with their water service. They also claim they attempted to settle the matter quietly, but the city would never respond. Mayor Ollie Tyler, in a recent forum, said that if something is wrong or something wrong has been done, she'll look into it when she's reelected. Officials in Washington, D.C. breathing a sigh of relief after a face-off between white nationalists and counter-protesters did not result in any major violence. Police Chief Peter Newsham says they learned important lessons from the tragedy in Charlottesville.
You know, down in Charlottesville, the night before their rally, there were hundreds, maybe even thousands of folks that descended upon the city, and that could happen here as well. So, you know, you always have to plan for the worst and hope for the best. And we were planned and we were ready.
Last year's Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville saw violent confrontations between the two groups. The average price for regular unleaded gas edges up 2 pennies over the past couple of weeks to $2.93. That's according to analyst Trilby Lundberg, who says some relief could be on the way thanks to higher supply and lower demand.
The high average in this panel of cities is San Francisco, $3.69 for a regular grade, and the lowest Jackson, Mississippi, $2.53.
She says the U.S. and some OPEC countries are stepping up production, which could bring down the price for consumers. Archie Lee Thomas has died in an accident involving a homemade go-kart. Thomas was allegedly riding his self-built go-kart through Shreveport's Cedar Grove neighborhood when he hit a curb at a high rate of speed and was thrown into a light pole. The accident remains under investigation. Legendary R&B singer Aretha Franklin is apparently near death. Doctors have warned her family members they should prepare for her end. Brooks Koepka wins a PGA championship by 2 shots, holding off a late charge by Tiger Woods, who finished second. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin. United States Senator John Kennedy is on the way just after 7 o'clock. What's that about?
Just after 8 o'clock.
Just after 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
sorry.
he's going to talk about the prison reform efforts. He thinks the governor's blowing a lot of smoke up the president's skirt.
In what regard?
Talking about how great our criminal justice reforms have been. And he sent a letter to the president in advance of the meeting to say, don't believe what you're about to hear.
Is not incarcerating prisoners, is not incarcerating the convicted for crimes they previously would have been incarcerated for a good idea, or is it all economic? It's if you listen to the governor, it's not fair that we're putting all these people. What was my question that I asked almost tongue in cheek to every politician when this was being the Justice Reinvestment Act? I said, so it's not that we have too much crime. It's that we're putting too many people in jail. And I said that just like that. I phrased it as a serious question, but I was not being serious. I said, it's not that we have too much crime, right? It's not that we need to reduce crime. We're just putting too many people in jail. And everybody I asked that looked at me and went, you understand. You got it. You have a grasp of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting to me that in all the negative comments, Louisiana has more people in prison than third world, whatever it works out to be.
Right.
And it's never mentioned, well, maybe people shouldn't break the law so much in Louisiana. Louisiana, we just throw people in prison. It's that school to prison pipeline.
Right.
Well, you know what? If it don't get arrested for stuff.
Don't do bad stuff.
Don't break the law.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, does it come down to we're just putting too many people in jail? We don't have too much crime. We don't need to reduce crime. We just are putting too many people in jail.
Well, people will say there are alternatives.
Hang on just a second. Let me ask you this. If you steal $100 and nothing happens, this was quoted to me by a policeman, by a Shreveport policeman. If you steal $100 and nothing happens,
I'm coming back for $200.
You hit the nail on the head, kid.
Absolutely.
639, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic update right here. And here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and sun today with a hotter afternoon, high 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
.117 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 18 away from 7 o'clock. You want to tell that story?
I don't mind telling it.
You don't, huh?
I feel bad about it.
You should.
Obviously not that bad.
Really feel bad about it.
Okay. Here are three. We will put in you can tell your story.
Mm-hmm.
Then Matt can tell his dream, and I'll tell mine. And Matt's dream and mine, which we had not discussed prior. He still doesn't know what mine is.
Oh,
but they are so amazingly similar, which is just weird.
Yeah.
So, what happened to you?
I play a little blackjack on the weekends.
A little blackjack. How about during the week? Play a little blackjack during the week, too.
I just play in those two tournaments, Tuesday and Thursday night. That's it, pretty much.
And weekends. And
no, leave me alone. I'm doing good right now in my head. But I go to, I learned a life lesson. God, did I learn a life lesson. I'm sitting at a table. It's me and one other guy. Because I play when there's no crowds. That's the time I like to play.
You don't like. So
I don't like other
what
idiots
is your
at the table.
limit? I'm intrigued. What is your limit of players at a table?
3. After 3, I'm out.
So if you're the fourth or if you're the third?
I try to leave. Yeah, I try to leave. Or
No,
move
wait,
to
you didn't
another.
answer. If you are the third.
If I'm the fourth.
So that's your max.
Yeah, I try to leave. Sometimes you can't, but if you're on a heater, you don't leave.
If you're on a roll or
if you're on a heater, you stay.
Too great. If you're on what?
But a heater.
What's that? I'm sorry?
Win streak. You know what a heater is.
She's using inside terms.
Yeah, inside. Yeah,
no,
inside
I've never heard that.
blackjack,
I know. Is that?
So
is that
I'm at this table. We're going to run out of time to tell your
we got
dreams
plenty
and
of time.
everything.
Is that a legitimate term?
Yeah, absolutely.
Heater on a heater?
Yes.
I've never heard of that.
You've heard it in poker, I know. Well, that's the same thing.
I don't play. I don't gamble.
So I'm at a table. I don't even know where I was. I really don't.
Threw your
If
back
I did,
out,
I wouldn't
thought
tell
you. Were on a heater.
And there's another guy at the table playing with me.
Right.
God bless you. I'm so sorry. And I'm surprised you didn't shoot me. Thank God they don't allow guns. He gets a hand with a lot of cards that adds up to a 20. He's before me. I always like to sit it in the end. And so I get my hand and I get a 17 or 18. I don't know what it was. Well, the dealer gets a bunch of cards too, and hers adds up to a 20. Well, she and he would be a tie, a push, they call it. Well, she comes and snatches my money, puts my hand in the dust, and then she goes over to his hand, which should be a push, and she pushes out the chips to pay him off. She's going to pay him on a push, a tie. That's a big stack of chips out there too. It's probably
how much?
Probably 500. I know I'm over exaggerating, but it was a lot of chips. And I'm embarrassed to admit this. I really am. And I pointed at his hand, and then I looked at her, and I said, "Isn't that a push?" And I mean, she was pushing chips to him, a big stack of chips to him.
And you pointed out she was in error.
I pointed out she was making a mistake on his hand.
So you cost this guy.
He looked at me like he wanted to throw me in the river with cinder blocks attached to each appendage.
Can you blame him?
He was so mad at me. He didn't say a thing because he knew he'd been busted trying to cheat, because he knew what he had. He knew it was a push. Trust me, you know what you have and what the dealer has. But he was trying to scam a few chips. And then I thought later, what if they were in it together and I ruined their little plan, you know? And I thought, that was overstretching
a modicum of
she
paranoia.
would get caught. The dealer would get caught.
Yeah.
And I did it simply because of that. Because some of these dealers, I've chit-chat with them, and, we make small talk. And I thought, she's going to get in trouble if she pays this off. My brain was thinking, I'm saving her from getting in trouble, from paying off this bet, because there's cameras everywhere. And if she gets caught paying it off, she's going to be in trouble.
What is casino etiquette?
Oh, not that. Not what I did.
Casino etiquette is keep your mouth shut and mind your own business.
Mind your own hand. I've talked to take care of your hand. That's the dealer's job to take care of everybody else's.
So tell me about your dream.
All right. Well, I won't mention who was mayor in my dream, but basically...
But it's post-election.
But it's post-election, and I will say that, during my dream, I was hired by this new mayor to be the leader of Shreveport's Musical Society.
Whoa.
And in my plan, or my task was to come up with a museum concept for Shreveport, a musical museum. So I laid out a museum filled with like Hank Williams and Hank Williams Jr. and Elvis and Farron Young and all the guys that either lived here or came through here, all this stuff. And I took this plan to the mayor, and he said... so
it was he. Ollie didn't get reelected, huh?
It was not Ollie. But I took it to this person, and his response was, "What, no Hurricane Chris?" He wanted rap music, and I was like, well, there's not a whole lot of that here. We got Leadbelly and some other things, and, well, we need to kick this thing off with a Lil Wayne concert, and it needs more Hurricane Chris, so go back to the drawing board.
Oh, so it wasn't Leo Savage, huh?
So
I didn't say that.
Here's my dream. I get a letter in the mail, and I open the letter, and it says, because it's been so long since I graduated high school, a lot of the courses that I took are no longer applicable, and my high school diploma has been rescinded by the state of Louisiana.
Oh, no.
So I have to go back to school. So I have to go back to Loyola. It was Jesuit when I graduated in 1970. So I go back, and there's all these other old people in the classroom with
Back
me
in class.
whose high school diplomas have also been rescinded by the state because just a lot of things have expired.
Oh, man.
Like that knowledge is no longer applicable.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about the class I'm in, nothing. But it's and this is where it gets weird in reference to Matt's dream.
Mm-hmm.
The class that I have to take to make my high school diploma valid once again is hip-hop songwriting.
Are you kidding?
Absolutely right. So this is the weird part. This is where it gets a little disjointed. But in the dream, because it was weird because I graduated high school in 1970. And because I graduated high school in 1970, in the dream, it was sort of like back to 1970.
Mm-hmm.
And so Gin and Juice by Snoop Dogg hadn't been written yet. And so I wrote down the opening line, just like riding down the street, smoking Indo, sipping on gin and juice.
Oh.
And I got an A, and I got my high school diploma back.
Wow.
Thanks to Snoop Dogg.
Thank you, Snoopy.
649, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic update just ahead of your money now. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
Now you can listen to Keel with your Alexa device at home. 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
.1017 FM, 710 Keel, 652. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Brooks Koepka won the 100th PGA Championship, his third major title and second this year. The 28-year-old has 2 U.S. Opens on his resume, but this one will be remembered mostly for who he held off for the Wanamaker Trophy. Tiger Woods shot a 64, his lowest round ever in a major, to finish second. His laser approach on 15 led to a tap-in birdie and brought him within one shot of the lead. But Koepka covered Tiger's birdie on 15 with one of his own and followed with a clinching birdie on 16. Houston's lead in the American League West is down to 2.5 games over Oakland and 4 over Seattle after the Mariners finished off a 4-game sweep of the Astros in Minute Maid Park. Edwin Diaz earned saves in all 4 games to raise his Major League leading total to 46 saves. Giancarlo Stanton homered for the 5th time in the last 6 games, and CC Sabathia allowed just 1 hit in 6 innings as the Yankees blasted the Rangers 7-2 in the Bronx. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
I do not have my phone in front of me, and I screenshotted something I saw this weekend. Hold on a second. Now, I'll just tell you what it was. It was on Facebook, and it was this anti-Trump video. And you're going to get a kick out of this because it's awesome. And basically, it's Donald Trump is the worst president of all time in the history of America and should be impeached, if not worse, because he is against the Endangered Species Act. And basically the thrust of this 2 or 3 minute video is Trump is just undoing the EPA, but basically it was the Endangered Species Act, and Trump wants to get rid of it, and he just hates animals, and he wants them all dead in the street, etc. He just wants an America whose highways are lined with roadkill. And I was thinking, I live in Shreveport, Louisiana. Let us examine for a moment our most recent interactions with the Endangered Species Act. One, the barn swallows at the Jimmy Davis Bridge.
You got to protect them.
Number 2 is the bats at Fairgrounds Field.
Yep, got to get rid of them right.
Look, we'll talk about this more after 7 o'clock. You just may not be as anti-Trump on that Endangered Species Act as you think. 6:56, here's Rush.
United Airlines made a tough call this month when they told a passenger traveling from Newark to Los Angeles that she would have to leave her emotional support service animal behind. The passenger had a ticket for Dexter the peacock, but United said, no way. Now, a 21-year-old college student's in the news over an incident that occurred last November. She was flying from Baltimore to her home in South Florida to take care of a medical issue. She had with her Pebbles, her dwarf hamster, which is part of the gerbil family, who was going to provide emotional support for her. Now, when Spirit Airlines refused passage for the rodent, the student says she tried unsuccessfully to rent a car. After agonizing for several hours, the student claims that she followed advice from Spirit representatives and took Pebbles to the women's restroom. The student says she was scared, and so was Pebbles. Pebbles didn't know where he was going to end up, with good reason. So Pebbles was put in the toilet, and the toilet was flushed. It's bye-bye Pebbles. And after the deed was done, the student said she sat crying for 10 minutes in the stall and then flew home. Now, Spirit says they never told her to flush the animal down the toilet. They do admit the student was originally told that her hamster would be allowed to travel. As for the peacock, he should thank his lucky stars he can't fit in the toilet. Now, folks, do with this what you will, but all of it did happen. Really.
Hey guys, pardon the advertising interruption to your radio program. Do yourself a favor and please listen carefully. If you have tried or wanted to try Viagra or other male prescriptions in the last few years, you need to hear about Noxitril, the super pill that will transform your performance in the bedroom forever. You see, Noxitril has been formulated and developed in U.S. FDA labs, and it's the real deal. Noxitril works, period. Strong, explosive results that increase blood flow fast. And best of all, there are no side effects like prescription meds. After years of research, the developers of Noxitril got it right. This remarkable pill is off the charts. Right now, we encourage you to take advantage of our incredible free bottle offer. So what are you waiting for? Noxitril. It's that good.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-605-1673. That's 800-605-1673. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-605-1673. That's 800-605-1673.
The intersection at North Market and North Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And those school zone lights are on and the school buses are out. Please use caution when driving around the school zones. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Good morning, 6:59, KeelAccuWeather.com forecast, kind of sunny, a few clouds, and high today of about 90. Right now, 69 at Keel. 7 o'clock, here is Fox News.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning, 7:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Miss Erin, local news getting ready now.
It's back to the books for lots of youngsters. We'll talk more about that. Power outages last night because of the storms. We'll have more on that, too. And a water billing lawsuit again.
Actually, it's not really back to the books. It's more like back to the iPads. You do realize
You
that.
got a point, yeah.
So Hank Williams Jr. was at...
He was in Bossier City.
Where was he
not
this
sure
weekend?
the venue was Horseshoe. Oh yeah, the Riverdome.
And so you've got a soundbite from Saturday night's show.
Man,
and
he disses on one of America's biggest cities like you will never believe.
And let's see, I am working on questions, and I think you should start also.
Okay.
For Keel's Mayoral Forum 2.0.
Yeah.
It's never too early to start.
Okay.
Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather. It's all coming up this hour, and it's right here on Keel.
The power of information. Keel News now.
It's back to school today for several parishes, including Caddo, Webster, Natchitoches, Sabine, Claiborne. We asked Caddo Superintendent Dr. Lamar Gorey what will be new on the security front this year.
Parents and students will find an increased access to mental health and behavior supports, as well as we've increased our armed police officers on our campuses.
The state's online tutoring service at homeworkla.org is expanding hours and adding additional features that includes live tutoring, test prep, class help, and even job search assistance. Louisiana's head librarian Rebecca Hamilton says this can have a big impact.
Parents calling saying, I cannot get with my kids after school. I work long hours. I'm a single parent. And this has just really meant so much to them.
Also, extra patrols will be out on the roads today to try to help keep our youngsters safe. Strong line of storms traveling from Texas into Louisiana knocked out power to thousands of residents in Caddo Parish last night. Nearly 4,500 folks were in the dark. SWEPCO officials worked throughout the night to get most of the power restored by 1 this morning. A woman is killed, a boy wounded in a drive-by shooting. Crystal Kennedy was killed in a drive-by shooting Saturday night in Shreveport. According to police, it happened on Redbud Lane about 9 p.m. According to reports, the gunman struck several cars and the family home as they opened fire on the neighborhood. A 12-year-old boy was also shot in the leg. Archie Lee Thomas has died in an accident involving a homemade go-kart. He was allegedly riding his self-built go-kart through Shreveport's Cedar Grove neighborhood when he hit a curb at a high rate of speed and was thrown into a light pole. Water billing misstep leads to yet another lawsuit against the city. Matt Parker with that.
The Homeowners Association for the Haven Subdivision and the Briarwood Apartment Complex are suing the city of Shreveport. According to the suit, the city overcharged them for water and sewer services. State law says the city can only tax water consumption, but reps from the Haven say the city taxed them on all utility fees associated with their water service. They also claim they attempted to settle the matter quietly with the city, but could never get a response from the mayor's office. Mayor Ollie Tyler, in a recent mayoral forum, said that if something wrong has been done, she'll look into it when she gets reelected. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
More than 7,000 Louisiana public high school students earned college credit through the latest round of advanced placement tests. The Education Department announces that the number rose 12% for the class of 2017 over the prior year. The average price for regular unleaded up 2 cents over the past couple of weeks to $2.93. Analyst Trilby Lundberg says some relief could be on the way thanks to higher supply and lower demand.
Saudi Arabia had already been raising its production some. It is expected, because of the OPEC agreement, OPEC plus Russia, that output by some countries will continue rising. And it may be an offset to declines in places like Venezuela. Also, the U.S. production is rising.
The highest average price in the states is San Francisco, $3.69. Jackson, Mississippi, the lowest at $2.53. Thanks to cooler temps, firefighters have one of the big fires in California 41% contained. Some evacuation orders have been lifted. The defense outplayed the offense at LSU's first scrimmage of fall camp. Coach Ed Orgeron says several players stood out in Tiger Stadium.
Gillivan Chessel had 7 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hurries, and 1 pass breakup. He's very active out there. Devin White was 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hurries. Ray Thornton was there, John Battle, Jacob Phillips. Damon Clark had 5.5 tackles. A freshman, Neil Farrell, showed up. Michael Divinity showed up, had 2 sacks. Overall, thought it was a pretty good day for the defense.
Coach O says the quarterback battle remains a tight one. One winning Powerball ticket for the Saturday night drawing. It was sold in Staten Island, $245 million. The lucky person will get $147 million in lump sum money before taxes. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
Good morning, 11 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Time for traffic. Ruben's here.
The intersection at North Market and North Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And those school zone lights are on and the school buses are out. Please use caution when driving around the school zones. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 13 past 7 o'clock. The Keel app, a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. Don't forget, especially as we begin this segment, Matt's fingers edging ever nearer to the Jack Spring Electric Shock Buster button.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Jack Spring Electric, Matt, just like Jack Spring, is always there.
I got the fear, man.
So you've got this audio from, is it Saturday night?
I guess it was Saturday night. I'm not sure.
Friday night.
Was it Friday night?
At Horseshoe, and Hank Williams Jr., who Erin says, I'm just like Hank. I want to be like Hank.
I think I'm like Hank already.
I
love Hank.
You mean with your alcohol and marijuana in?
No marijuana.
Okay. Why do you want to be like Hank?
It looked like he sat the whole time for a show.
You sit the whole time.
I don't want to get up and move a lot.
As a matter of fact, we're going
Dance
to
in
have
the chair.
going to have you catheterized just so you don't have to ever leave the studio.
I think he got up.
So explain to me why you want to be like Hank.
He's sitting there doing a little intro into one of his songs, and then he got to talking.
You're kind of talking like Hank now.
And he was telling the crowd up in Bossier City.
Like I'm with Zeligan here.
I'm like, I want to be Hank. Can I just play it? And no, I think I beeped out all the bad words.
Well,
I think.
Tell us first of all why you want to be like Hank, and then you can show us.
Because Hank does what he wants, when he wants, for how much he wants. And he tells a lot of people, hell no. Not going to do it.
Right.
Not interested anymore. I'm going to do what I want, when I want, how I want.
Johnny Carson had a term for that, and I'm cleaning it up. He called it screw you money. Do you have screw you money?
No, but I'm going to be all right. Hank's got screw you money.
Probably does.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. Does Erin McCarty have screw you
And you can tell the crowd in Bossier City, they ate old Hank up.
Bunch of drunks.
Hey, leave Hank alone.
What?
Leave Hank alone. Just listen. I want to be like Hank.
I'm going to do maybe 25, 26 shows a year. I got a fax machine. I got a black magic marker. I got them in Montana, Tennessee, Alabama, North Florida. I don't know. It depends on what season it is. I go from here to there. They send offers. We got $400,000 for you. Please do the Chicago shit. No, I ain't gonna let you do Hell yeah! Yep, no, I ain't doing no shit. Hey, you ain't gonna believe this. They've done upped it to $500,000. I don't give a if it's $1.5 million, I ain't doing it. Hell yeah! Come on, Hank. You tough, man. Please do some of them. Turkey season's over. It's that time of year. Dove season's gonna start. Please do a couple of shows. I mean, come on. How about Bossier City, man, in Louisiana? I said, hell yeah, that's the easy one. I'm gonna play where I want to, when I want to, or who I want to, with who I want to.
That's me.
First of all, let me point out that Hank may have had a beverage or two.
Of course he had.
Okay, you have proven time and again that you are wholly incapable of performing, at least in this studio.
Yeah.
When you've had NyQuil PM.
Don't people want to be like Hank? I'm going to do what the hell I want, when the hell I want, and if somebody like Chicago calls, they can kiss my...
It's interesting you say that because as much as I kind of like Hank Williams Jr., I'm just not sure if somebody offered him $1 million if he'd really say no.
It's easy to say no when there's no offer on the table.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, always remember, Elton John
I know.
played Rush Limbaugh's wedding
Yeah.
for $1 million. You know why?
I don't think he'd do it again.
You know why? Because if you're a millionaire, $1 million, no matter how much money you've got,
Yeah.
$1 million is still $1 million.
You got a point.
19 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Keel's Mayoral Forum 2.0. The only thing missing is the candidates, but we will begin writing our questions when we get back. Right now, traffic update. Ruben's here.
The intersection at North Market and North Hearn Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And those school zone lights are on and the school buses are out. Please use caution when driving around the school zones. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight, partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Twenty-one past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. The latest sports. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Brooks Koepka won the 100th PGA Championship, his third major title and second this year. The 28-year-old has 2 U.S. Opens on his resume, but this one will be remembered mostly for who he held off for the Wanamaker Trophy. Tiger Woods shot a 64, his lowest round ever in a major, to finish second. His laser approach on 15 led to a tap-in birdie and brought him within one shot of the lead. But Koepka covered Tiger's birdie on 15 with one of his own and followed with a clinching birdie on 16. Houston's lead in the American League West is down to 2.5 games over Oakland and 4 over Seattle after the Mariners finished off a 4-game sweep of the Astros in Minute Maid Park. Edwin Diaz earned saves in all 4 games to raise his major league leading total to 46 saves. Giancarlo Stanton homered for the 5th time in the last 6 games, and CC Sabathia allowed just 1 hit in 6 innings as the Yankees blasted the Rangers 7-2 in the Bronx. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
24 past 7 o'clock. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. Are you planning on... Did I just hear like Mr. Magoo-like noises coming from someone's... Was that you or was that you?
Me.
It
was him.
Who was that over there?
Sure, I'll take the blame. I don't know what you're talking about.
I heard this sort of...
It was probably him.
Are you sure it's not someone in the hallway?
Could be.
No, it was in my headphone ear. You know, the one that has 40% hearing. So we are preparing sort of for the KEEL Mayoral Forum 2.0. Only thing missing at this point is candidates.
Yeah.
One of the things we had discussed, and one of the things we kind of tossed around, and in fact have talked about it on the radio a couple of times, is that, and maybe for the next one, is how we can have a little more candidate interaction. And the thing we have to kind of avoid there, not necessarily to protect the mayor, obviously not, as you'll hear in our segment at the 40, in the 40 segment. But little tease there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But basically, do you want to have 4 candidates ganging up on one candidate, even if that candidate is the incumbent?
Right.
You know, why'd you do this? Why didn't you do that? Boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. But one of the things we kind of want to do is have a little more candidate interaction, or at least get down to more specifics. And I one of the great ones when Scott Hughes was here last week.
Yeah.
So give us 3 things you'll do in the first 90 days to fight crime.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is Miss Ollie going to say numbers are down?
Our plan, we're still implementing. We're going to
Plan.
continue to implement our plan. I'll answer it as Ollie. We're going to continue to implement our plan. It's working. We are seeing success. We've bought more equipment. We're paying officers more.
And candidates and the candidate, one of the others will say, so at that point they say, and so in your opinion, it's you know, what was my line last week? Who you going to, the old Groucho Marx line, who you going to believe, me or your own lion eyes? So you can blame social media or the media or television
Right.
or whomever. So and basically at some point it sounds like you're saying the reason crime seems so bad with all the shootings is because it's being reported. If it weren't being reported, it wouldn't seem so bad.
That's part of the problem. But if you look at the numbers, you know, they will show that it's down.
Back to my original line. Who
And
you going to
she's gotta-
believe, me or your own lion eyes?
She's got to keep touting that. But there are going to be people that say, no, 4 years ago, they were much lower.
I got news for you. That ain't working.
It's not working.
That ain't working.
It's not working. But she did during our forum, she did say crime is spiking at all communities across the country. We're seeing it across the country.
Do you think that really works either?
No, it's not working.
So, I mean, Miss Ollie, and obviously I'm not her campaign manager, she had a couple of choices. When you have, if the perception, I'm going to try to be fair here, if the perception of crime in Shreveport is that it is as bad as it's ever been, you've got a couple of choices. You can do what Ollie did, what Miss Ollie did, and you can have a press conference, a news conference, and say, nope, look, here's the numbers. Numbers are down. Look, it may seem, and we're doing what we're doing, and every week, every day. How many more shootings this weekend?
4,
3, 4. Okay.
4, at least 4.
So you can fall back on the what I'm doing is working and numbers are down, or you could have come out and said, with Police Chief Crump, you could have said, look, I know how it looks. It looks bad. And you know what's going to end this weekend? Shootings in Shreveport. I'm going to do everything I can. In other words, did she take the bull by the horns? Did she grab it by the throat and say, we got a problem and I am going to fix it and I am going to do whatever it takes? Did she do that? No, she fell back into a more defensive position. Numbers are down. It's just because of social media.
Right.
It's TV's fault. It's Erin McCarty for talking about it and reporting it. Is that plan really working?
Well, what I don't like about this whole is all the number, because I talked to somebody, I'm not even going to say what area, because this person has big time inside scoop, okay? And there's a big debate over how many officers are actually out on patrol.
We can't. Would it be fair to say it's really tough to get an answer?
Well, the mayor's office will tell you, and the police department will say it's over 300. You'll hear the union chief say it's 170. But then the person that I got some detailed stats from says this city's never had more than 200 officers assigned directly to patrol. So they may monkey with the numbers and say there's 300 on patrol.
Why would they do that?
But those might include officers in schools. Those might include DARE officers. Those might include neighborhood assistance team officers. I don't know. But I want to know right now how many police officers are in a car driving in neighborhoods. Not at Captain Shreve High School because he's the school resource officer. Not in some neighborhood office because they're working with. I want to know how many are driving around in cars on this day shift right now. Can someone tell me that?
101.7 FM, 710 Keel, 729. Local news up next. Traffic update now. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Line Avenue just south of East 70th Street. And we're still looking at that heavy backed-up traffic on Benton Road southbound just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and sun today with a hotter afternoon, high 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
It's back to school today for several parishes, including Caddo, Webster, Sabine, and Natchitoches. We asked Superintendent in Caddo, Dr. Lamar Gorey, about plans to improve underperforming schools.
Our work in the transformation zone was extremely effective, where we did see 8 of those 10 schools come off of that eligible for state takeover list. So there are only 2 schools today that the state could even have the conversation around.
Extra patrols will be out on the roads to keep our youngsters safe. Strong line of storms traveling from East Texas into Louisiana knocked out power to thousands of residents in Caddo Parish last night. According to SWEPCO, nearly 4,500 residents were in the dark. They worked feverishly through the night to get the lights back on to most residents by 1 a.m. this morning. A woman killed, a boy wounded in a drive-by shooting. Matt Parker with that.
Crystal Kennedy was killed in a drive-by shooting Saturday night in Shreveport. According to police, the shooting happened in the 3200 block of Red Bud Lane around 9 p.m. According to reports, the gunman struck several cars in the family home as they opened fire on the neighborhood. A 12-year-old boy was shot in the leg during the incident as well. At this time, no arrests have been made in the case. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
The Homeowners Association for the Haven Subdivision and the Briarwood Apartment Complex are suing the city of Shreveport. According to the lawsuit, the city overcharged them for water and sewer services. State law says the city can only tax water consumption, but reps from the Haven say the city taxed them on all utility fees associated with their water service. They also claim they attempted to settle the matter quietly, but the city would never respond. Mayor Ollie Tyler, in a recent forum, said that if something is wrong or something wrong has been done, she'll look into it when she's reelected. Officials in Washington, D.C. breathing a sigh of relief after a face-off between white nationalists and counter-protesters did not result in any major violence. Police Chief Peter Newsham says they learned important lessons from the tragedy in Charlottesville.
You know, down in Charlottesville, the night before their rally, there were hundreds, maybe even thousands of folks that descended upon the city, and that could happen here as well. So, you always have to plan for the worst and hope for the best. And we were planned and we were ready.
Last year's Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville saw violent confrontations between the two groups. The average price for regular unleaded gas edges up 2 pennies over the past couple of weeks to $2.93. That's according to analyst Trilby Lundberg, who says some relief could be on the way thanks to higher supply and lower demand.
The high average in this panel of cities is San Francisco, $3.69 for a regular grade, and the low is Jackson, Mississippi, $2.53.
She says the U.S. and some OPEC countries are stepping up production, which could bring down the price for consumers. Archie Lee Thomas has died in an accident involving a homemade go-kart. Thomas was allegedly riding his self-built go-kart through Shreveport's Cedar Grove neighborhood when he hit a curb at a high rate of speed and was thrown into a light pole. The accident remains under investigation. Legendary R&B singer Aretha Franklin is apparently near death. Doctors have warned her family members they should prepare for her end. Brooks Koepka wins a PGA championship by 2 shots, holding off a late charge by Tiger Woods, who finished second. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin. KEEL app's a free download from Office Furniture Source. We will probably be able, as the mayor's race develops, probably be able to get a lot more information and a lot more direct questioning in when they are here individually.
Which I'm planning to do. I've reached out to them all to do that. And individually come in and spend 30 minutes or so with us.
So you think this is important? I kind of think it is, one by one as they come in. Would you ask about a no tax pledge?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Because there are a number of candidates, shan't mention names in this segment, who are promoting, who are coming up with it. We've got all these ideas, internet for everybody, blah, blah. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ideas. But you know what? We're kind of tapped out. Where's that money coming from? And I'm not just pinpointing one specific candidate when I mention that they all have a lot of ideas. We need to do this. We need to install this. We need this kind of surveillance. We need this. We need A, B, and C, and X, Y, and Z. But you know what we don't have is a whole lot of money.
Right.
So what's the plan? How are you going to do it? Will you take a no tax pledge? Or is your plan to pay for whatever it is improvements you see that the city needs? I mean, how many more people you want to run off?
The general public and doesn't really understand, I don't think, how critical the city's budget is. We have fewer than 2%. We have fewer than 2% of our city budget, general fund budget, in reserve. We have $4.6 million in reserve. That's 2%.
Is the well low? Is that what you're telling me?
Oh my gosh! Just imagine the little boy who drowned in the drainage ditch. Just their family just filed a lawsuit. Say that family wins $1 million from the city, whatever. Where does that $1 million come from? The reserves. So you would drop it to 3.5. I mean, just one incident can have a devastating impact on your city's reserves. And to have your city's reserve fund down to 2% is you would have to impact services to cut anything now at this point. You would have, if you don't raise any more revenue.
Question number 2, is Shreveport government bloated? Can it be cut?
I've looked at that.
How many city employees do we have?
I think it's 500. I may be wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
No, excuse me. That's the police department. I don't know the total city employees. I'm not sure about that.
And we have. I mean, is it a case of and this is something we can look into? Obviously, the way you looked into Caddo school system is okay. X number of years ago, we had 2 or 3 or 5,000 more students than we have now. Why do we have more people working there now?
Yeah, I can look into that. I mean, they are.
Shreveport's population 15 years ago, we had more people. 10 years ago, more people.
I did look at the general fund budget, and I kind of give you a rundown on that. I was looking at this the other day. Our general fund spending was about $213 million 4 years ago. It's now up to $221 million. So it's up $8 million from 4 years ago. It has come down. 2016, it was at its peak of $227 million. Now, that would have been, I think, the final budget of Glover that he presented. I may be wrong about that.
More. Does Shreveport have debt? Do we have pension liability?
Oh, pension liability is a huge problem.
Things for us to I know Louisiana as a state has 16.1 billion dollar pension liability.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Shreveport's is. This is going to be, and we've got, what is it, half of August, September, and October, about 75 days to go until the mayoral election. 741, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, traffic time. Ruben's here.
Starting to see some slow-moving traffic on Texas Street in downtown Shreveport, and we're still keeping a close eye on that heavy backed-up traffic on Benton Road southbound, just north of I-220 in Bossier City. It's backed up to Vanceville Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
.101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Hold on a second. I have from the Shreveport Security Systems text line 318-392-1884. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Curious, and you can fill in if this is an incorrect assumption or if there is anything that is unfair in the text I'm about to read.
Okay.
I want you to correct it and fill in the blanks, and then we can get to the meat, if you will, of the segment. I'm curious. What does Mayor Tyler getting reelected have to do with her ability to take time to ask the city administrator or another part of the staff who's not involved in the election to look into the water billing issue? Now, the water billing issue is, fill us in, a lawsuit. This was made public on Friday. Have I got that right?
It was filed Monday.
Okay.
And a week ago. But it's kind of coming to light now after the Haven.
The citizens, the inhabitants, everybody that lives at the Haven, they're off of East Kings, basically the HOA right across from LSUS.
Right.
It's the Haven and then an apartment complex.
Briarwood Apartment Complex, which is over by the old Shreveport Country Club, I believe.
Okay.
They have sued the city, claiming residents were overcharged for water and sewer services. The residents of the Haven got the notice in the mail saying that, quote, our board of directors have a duty to prudently pursue and collect all monies due to it. The fact is, the city owes the association a large amount of money.
I think in one of the, and I may have sent you the email, there is an actual figure.
I've got it.
Mentioned. How much?
$25,000 to $30,000. Because if you don't know the history of this is the state sales taxes that were removed. Let me back it up. July of 2015, lawmakers removed the utilities exemption from state sales taxes for water only,
right,
for all commercial accounts. Well, apparently the city has been continuing to charge the tax, and the homeowners association wants to recoup the money.
Fair.
Now, January of this year, the city did fix the problem, apparently, and have been charging the correct taxes. There's also a question about during the 2 years they were taxing wrong, or 3 years, 2.5, the city did not remit that tax money to the state. I have not been able to confirm whether or not that's true. The lawsuit accuses that.
So what the lawsuit says is not only did you, the city, tax us unfairly, you didn't send the money after you taxed us unfairly where it was supposed to go.
Right. Because the state no longer taxed that, so you wouldn't remit taxes you didn't owe.
Now, here's the question.
Here's the quote that I don't like.
Here's the quote that is, at best, confusing.
I want to make sure it's accurate, but this was during a forum 1 week ago today when this came up. It was at the Southern Hills Business Association's big meeting.
Was this the
it
one
was
that
at
was
Southwood High School,
Okay.
yeah, where Mayor Ollie Tyler is quoted as saying, quote, if something has been done wrong, we will do the audit when I'm reelected. I don't understand why not start now. Why not do it now? What does having to be reelected have to do with that? That's my issue, and that's what a lot of people are.
In her defense, was that I can't imagine basically what she means is if you vote for me, I'll straighten this mess out.
No, absolutely not.
So
that's not what she means.
She is at worst guilty of clumsy wording.
That could be it, or there may have been more to that when and they pulled that little bite out. That was printed in the Times, I think. I've emailed the mayor and the CAO and the city attorney to kind of explain, is that quote accurate? That's not really what she meant, I'm sure. I'm sure she's going to pursue, and do an audit and find out what's wrong and where the money's not remitted and if they should have been.
In other words, what's the plan?
Can I say this out loud?
You got about 30 seconds.
Ollie Tyler's not a crook, okay? She's not stealing your money and pocketing the money. That's not happening. There may have been a miscalculation of the taxes. I think deep down she wants to get it right. Is she down there every day deciding who pays how much tax? No, that's not her gig. She will do what she can to get it right. But to say something like that,
But according to that answer,
I don't like
it
that.
It ain't happening until the first of the year.
I don't like hearing it like that.
749, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, time for traffic.
The intersection at Greenwood Road and Juella Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some heavy backed-up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
$7.52 Keel Sports. Here's Tim.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Brooks Koepka won the 100th PGA Championship, his third major title and second this year. The 28-year-old has 2 U.S. Opens on his resume, but this one will be remembered mostly for who he held off for the Wanamaker Trophy. Tiger Woods shot a 64, his lowest round ever in a major, to finish second. His laser approach on 15 led to a tap-in birdie and brought him within 1 shot of the lead. But Koepka covered Tiger's birdie on 15 with one of his own and followed with a clinching birdie on 16. Houston's lead in the American League West is down to 2.5 games over Oakland and 4 over Seattle after the Mariners finished off a 4-game sweep of the Astros in Minute Maid Park. Edwin Diaz earned saves in all 4 games to raise his major league leading total to 46 saves. Giancarlo Stanton homered for the 5th time in the last 6 games, and CC Sabathia allowed just 1 hit in 6 innings as the Yankees blasted the Rangers 7-2 in the Bronx. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 755. So coming up just after 8 o'clock is U.S. Senator John Kennedy. What's that about?
Yeah, he's not happy with how the governor went to New Jersey to meet with the president and others to talk about how great criminal justice reform is in Louisiana. Kennedy says, it ain't so great. In fact, it's putting, violent people back on the streets. And we don't have programs in place that we promised to help these people once they got back to their home parishes. And so they're just recommitting crimes.
Why do you think? Is this just the state once again putting, like stepping over the cliff before there's a bridge? In other words, well, it's a good idea and it sounds good to a specific electoral demographic.
Mm-hmm.
To we're not.
We're no longer the incarceration state in the country.
The incarceration capital of America.
Right. Now Oklahoma is. And
so what are we doing with all the people that aren't going to jail now, but
are they getting help and getting jobs?
Diversion program. What jobs?
How are we tracking them?
Yeah.
Who's tracking them? Jimmy LeBlanc told us Friday. He said we are tracking them. The law comes with big time tracking requirements, and he said we are, and it's low, but it's also lowering and this I'm going to send to a friend that I know is high up in the parole department, because he also said something about we're lessening the burden on the parole and probation officers because they're ending those earlier now. So you get off probation and parole earlier as a result, so we have fewer cases to work.
Yeesh.
I wonder if that's true.
More on this just past 8 o'clock, 7:57. Here's Sean Hannity.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
I love the fact that we can now say American made, American jobs, American manufacturing, American products, made in America. Well, Hannity, that is very myopic of you, because I want my I'm not going to ever apologize for wanting the people in this country to have the most opportunity first. And if you think for a second that there's any other country out there that wants another country to succeed before their country succeeds, then you're living in a fantasy world that is not rooted in any kind of what is real reality. And I think the fact that we want America to succeed and America to be successful is a good thing.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Buying a home should be one of life's best experiences, but today's fluctuating interest rates can leave you with unexpected higher payments. And that can turn a great experience into an anxious one. At Quicken Loans, we've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. It's called the power buying process. We check your income, assets, and credit to provide you with a verified approval, which can give you the strength of a cash buyer. Once verified, you qualify for our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days while you find your new home. Then, once you've found your new home, if rates have gone up, your rate stays locked. But if rates have gone down, your rate drops, and you get to keep that new lower rate. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
Just received reports of a minor accident on 3132 eastbound near East Flournoy Lucas Road. And we have some backed up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 8:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Miss Erin down yonder's got local news up next.
Back to school today for lots of youngsters. We'll talk more about that. More violence in our community. We'll have that too. And the battle over the water bills. We got that again.
Hang on a second. I'm writing something down. I'll be right there. U.S. Senator John Kennedy joins us in about 10 minutes. Got a lot of stuff to talk about, including the Justice Reinvestment Act, i.e. here in Louisiana, we call that either letting people out of jail early or not putting them in jail at all. He thinks it's a bad idea. Plus, State Senator Tarver sends a letter to the governor about what?
Appointments to the LSU board that oversees the hospitals.
Mr. Greg less than happy about this?
Not a happy camper.
Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather all coming up this hour here on Keel.
The power of information. Keel News now.
Back to school today for several parishes in the region. We talked to Caddo Superintendent Dr. Lamar Gorey about the buses. Are some of them still without air?
When you have a fleet of 350 buses, you're going to have some that don't have air conditioning. Of course, all the ones we're buying and replacing them with do have air conditioning.
Caddo, Webster, Claiborne, Sabine, Natchitoches all go back to class today. Extra patrols will be out on the roads to keep youngsters safe. The Homeowners Association for the Haven subdivision and the Briarwood apartment complex are suing the city of Shreveport. According to the suit, the city overcharged them for water and sewer services. State law says the city can only tax water consumption, but reps from the Haven say the city taxed them on all utility fees associated with their water service. They also claim they attempted to settle the matter quietly with the city, but could never get a response from the mayor's office. Mayor Ollie Tyler said in a recent forum that if something was wrong has been done, she'll look into it when she gets reelected. Strong storms knock out power to thousands. Matt Parker with that.
A strong line of thunderstorms traveling from East Texas into Louisiana knocked out power to thousands of residents in Caddo Parish Sunday night. According to SWEPCO, nearly 4,500 residents were without power. SWEPCO officials worked feverishly through the night to get the lights back on to most of its residents by 1 a.m. this morning. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
A woman killed, a boy wounded in a drive-by shooting. Crystal Kennedy killed in a drive-by Saturday night in Shreveport. According to police, the shooting happened on Redbud Lane. Archie Lee Thomas died in an accident involving a homemade go-kart. He was allegedly riding his self-built go-kart through Shreveport's Cedar Grove area when he hit a curb at a high rate of speed and was thrown into a light pole. The state's online tutoring service, homeworkla.org, is expanding hours and adding additional features that includes live tutoring, test prep, class help, and even job search assistant available. Louisiana's head librarian, Rebecca Hamilton, says it's academic assistance for anyone.
Some people need to take that ACT test or the GED to start getting in the job market. We serve people from, they say, the womb to the tomb.
You can access the services online at home with a library card number or in person at your local library. The demand for used cars is growing, so are the prices. Louisiana Auto Dealers Association's Will Green says many people are buying cars that were once leased.
Just by virtue of it being a lease, you've got a newer, high-end vehicle that's now coming on the market.
Green says that's because leases have become more common over the last 3 to 5 years. The EPA is being urged to do more about contaminants turning up in public water systems in dozens of states. The agency is holding listening sessions all around the country. And you probably suspect it. Well, now this report says it's actually happening. Google records your movements even when you explicitly tell the company not to. That's according to an exclusive report from the Associated Press. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Ten past 8 o'clock. 10 past 8, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Just received reports of a large ladder in the left lane of I-49 South near the 3132 exit. And we're still looking at some heavy backed up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight, partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. U.S. Senator John Kennedy is here. Hey, Mr. John, welcome back to KEEL. How are you this morning?
Thanks, guys. Good morning.
I am looking at the headline here, and I will read the headline, and you can comment because you may have seen some firsthand, you may have been a witness to some of this. Protests yesterday in D.C. Headline, protesters rage against D.C. police. You're all America KKK and fascists. What's going on in D.C.? What was happening yesterday?
I haven't been there. I've been in Louisiana this week, but based on everything I've seen and heard, I think our cops did a pretty good job. We've seen the I don't know, the drama of of racial bigotry for in Louisiana. We had our run-in with David Duke. Frankly, the best thing you can do is just ignore them. But the national media just laps it up, and that's not going to happen. But as best I can tell, there was nobody seriously injured, and I think our police officers did a good job. I know a lot of people think our cops are all bad people and they're guilty until proven innocent, but I thank them. I'm glad they're out there.
It was not too long ago that we in Louisiana, that our state legislature, Governor Edwards, signed the Justice Reinvestment Act, which called for lighter sentencing, sometimes no sentencing at all, to those convicted of a crime, and released a whole lot of prisoners early. You wrote a letter to the governor. You got a problem with that, huh?
Well, the governor and I just disagree. He thinks our problem in Louisiana is that we have too many prisoners. I think our problem in Louisiana is that we have too many people committing crimes. When I look around Louisiana, and I think, what are the 10 things we need the most? In my top 10, I don't put more prisoners on the streets. Take Shreveport, Robert. I mean, Shreveport was just listed one of America's 25 murder capitals. Our crime rate's 126% higher than the national average. Our violent crime rate in Shreveport is 146% above the national average. The governor says, and his Department of Corrections Secretary, they say, well, we're just letting nonviolent criminals go. Well, they forgot to tell the nonviolent criminals. I mean, 2 of them promptly committed murder.
Do you anticipate those numbers going up for, say, Shreveport-Bossier as a result of these efforts?
Well, Erin, I hope not. But if you look at what the district attorneys say, and I trust their numbers better than I do the corrections numbers, one district attorney has said that in his judicial district, the recidivism or recommit rate has been 25%. Another district attorney in the 23rd Judicial District Court says his has been a third. Now, remember, that's over 8 months. The normal period of time to compute recidivism rates is 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So at the rate we're going, we'll, unfortunately, if it doesn't slow down, we'll set records.
Corrections Secretary Jimmy LeBlanc cites a recidivism rate of 12% of the 1,900 who were released early. Do you strongly I know you said you challenge those numbers. What makes you suspicious of those numbers?
That they're coming from the Department of Corrections. The FBI is crawling all over the Department of Corrections, as you know. Our warden at Angola had to resign. Our warden and business manager at the Boyles Correctional Institute has been indicted. There have been a number of other indictments of senior level people. The legislative auditor recently did a report about the Department of Corrections, and it concluded that our DOC, as we call it, doesn't know where 11% of its prisoners are. In other words, they know they're somewhere in the system. They just can't tell you where, which prison. The legislative auditor also pointed out that the Department of Corrections seems to have a problem with computing release dates accurately. And it just doesn't give me a lot of confidence.
Mr. John, the governor says, the governor says that you're kind of cooking the books for your own political gain. And from what I can see from what he put on Twitter, you're trying to undermine his meeting with the president. What do you say about that?
Well, that's what the governor always says. You know, when he we've got probably the worst economy in the United States, and when I or others say, well, maybe, Governor, now is not the good time to raise taxes, he says, it's all political. I'm bipartisan, you're political. We have a voluntary work requirement for our food stamp program. When the governor got rid of that and people protested, said, well, maybe that's not a good idea. You know, maybe we ought to encourage people to work and they wouldn't need food stamps. So you're being political. I'm bipartisan. You're not. That's generally what they always say when they don't have any facts.
He invited the president to come tour Angola. Do you think that'll happen?
I don't know. I'm not in charge of the president's schedule. Obviously, I have enough trouble paddling my own canoe. If I wrote the president a letter, and I'll do it again if he decides to come, just giving him the whole story. I just thought it was important that he understand in my opinion anyway, the prisoner release program in Louisiana hasn't worked.
Did he respond to your letter at all, the president?
Not yet, but I just sent it.
Okay.
He will. I mean, the president, I'll say, I'll pat him on the back here. I've never, been in federal government before, but my colleagues tell me that he is incredibly responsive. I called him, not last week, but I think the week before last. I don't try to bother him every week.
Mr.
I
John,
called him on the Thursday afternoon. He called me right back Friday morning. I was shocked at how responsive he was.
Mr. John, not to over speculate, but what would Governor John Kennedy do to reframe? Would Governor Kennedy do away or attempt to do away with the Justice Reinvestment Act?
Well, I wouldn't. I don't want to answer that as Governor Kennedy because I'm not governor, and I don't know if I'm going to run. But what I think the governor ought to do is it. It takes a big person sometimes to admit you made a mistake. President Trump just did it when he separated kids from their parents at the border. After about 3 days, he came back and said, well, I made a mistake. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to fix it. I think John Bell ought to do that here. He just admit his program wasn't a good idea. I doubt he'll do that because this is part of a national Democratic Party agenda. So, at a minimum, I hope that he will go to the District Attorneys Association and go to the Sheriff's Association and ask each group to appoint 5 of their DAs and or sheriffs. The governor doesn't pick them. They pick them. The DAs and sheriffs pick them. And let them review these people before they let them go. I mean, I'll give you one example. They let a guy go in supposedly nonviolent, a guy go in Jefferson Parish recently. He had a rap sheet that was 51 pages long. He promptly committed battery on a police officer. There was another one that he had 60 arrests on his rap sheet. This was in Kenner. They let him go. He promptly robbed 2 roofers at gunpoint. This is the kind of nonviolent prisoners they're talking about. I said about 6 months ago they're going to get somebody killed. I'm sorry that I was right. They have. We've had 2 of these nonviolent offenders have murdered people. And I hope they're not more, but they're just not being, in my opinion, very competent in how they're running the program, which I think was destined to fail. But, everybody's entitled to his opinion.
Senator John Kennedy, can't thank you enough for your time, sir. Take care.
Hey, guys, have a great week.
20 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Fletcher and Sports, just a couple of seconds away. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Line Avenue and Kings Highway is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're still keeping an eye on that heavy backed-up traffic on Benton Road southbound, just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
23 past 8 o'clock, Keel Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Brooks Koepka won the 100th PGA Championship, his third major title and second this year. The 28-year-old has 2 U.S. Opens on his resume, but this one will be remembered mostly for who he held off for the Wanamaker Trophy. Tiger Woods shot a 64, his lowest round ever in a major, to finish second. His laser approach on 15 led to a tap-in birdie and brought him within 1 shot of the lead. But Koepka covered Tiger's birdie on 15 with one of his own and followed with a clinching birdie on 16. Houston's lead in the American League West is down to 2.5 games over Oakland and 4 over Seattle after the Mariners finished off a 4-game sweep of the Astros in Minute Maid Park. Edwin Diaz earned saves in all 4 games to raise his major league leading total to 46 saves. Giancarlo Stanton homered for the 5th time in the last 6 games, and CC Sabathia allowed just 1 hit in 6 innings as the Yankees blasted the Rangers 7-2 in the Bronx. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Wait a second. What? You didn't know Sweden was next to Finland, next to Norway?
I didn't know any of this. I'm learning today.
Okay, this is very odd because you can, through our KEEL analytics, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, through KEEL analytics, you can determine who is listening.
Shout out to Estonia today.
Who is it? In fact, he posted on the KEEL Facebook page.
He posts quite often. He listens about 3-4 times a week. It's a gentleman named Don, and he listens in Estonia. I guess
what
that's
the
where
hell's
he
he
lives
doing
now.
in Estonia?
Is he there on business? Is he a resident of Estonia?
It says he's retired, and that's where he lives. And he says, "Hey, I'm listening from Estonia."
Attention, Don, and I'm being totally serious now. I am, as is my brother. Well, both my brothers, actually, as we approach retirement age. And we see these ads on the internet all the time. Retire here where country X. If you have $200,000, it's like having $5 million in the States.
Yeah.
Is the reason, and I'm totally serious now because the latest country we're looking at is Ecuador. And if you've got like about $300,000 or $400,000 American.
Is that over there by Finland too?
It's about like $2 or $3 million in Ecuador. Ecuador's in South America.
Oh, okay, different. Okay.
Now, so my question to Don is, being totally serious, are you in Estonia where the climate is very, very cold?
Oh, it's north of Moscow.
It's not a warm place. Well, this time of the year it's like nice, but it's like living in Michigan or Wisconsin, like the UP of Michigan or Canada, climatologically speaking. Don, is the reason you are in Estonia, are you retired, and did you retire there because, A, the USD goes a long way, and B, because since the breakup of the Soviet Union in the late 80s, those former Warsaw Pact nations are, in fact, the most right-leaning and free nations on the face of the earth.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Belarus?
Like Poland, like the Czech Republic, like
Latvia?
Slovakia, they are all, look,
Lithuania?
they lived under the oppressive thumb. Here's a perfect example. Do you think tomorrow, if they had free elections in Cuba, do you think they'd really vote for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Bernie Sanders? I bet they wouldn't.
You're probably right.
28 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic and weather. Let's go to traffic now. Good call, producer. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Milam Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we still have some backed-up traffic on Airline Drive just north of Brownlee Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
It's back to school today for several parishes, including Caddo, Webster, Sabine, and Natchitoches. We asked Superintendent in Caddo, Dr. Lamar Gorey, about plans to improve underperforming schools.
Our work in the transformation zone was extremely effective, where we did see 8 of those 10 schools come off of that eligible for state takeover list. So there are only 2 schools today that the state could even have the conversation around.
Extra patrols will be out on the roads to keep our youngsters safe. Strong line of storms traveling from East Texas into Louisiana knocked out power to thousands of residents in Caddo Parish last night. According to SWEPCO, nearly 4,500 residents were in the dark. They worked feverishly through the night to get the lights back on to most residents by 1 a.m. this morning. A woman killed, a boy wounded in a drive-by shooting. Matt Parker with that.
Crystal Kennedy was killed in a drive-by shooting Saturday night in Shreveport. According to police, the shooting happened in the 3200 block of Red Bud Lane around 9 p.m. According to reports, the gunman struck several cars in the family home as they opened fire on the neighborhood. A 12-year-old boy was shot in the leg during the incident as well. At this time, no arrests have been made in the case. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
The Homeowners Association for the Haven Subdivision and the Briarwood Apartment Complex are suing the city of Shreveport. According to the lawsuit, the city overcharged them for water and sewer services. State law says the city can only tax water consumption, but reps from the Haven say the city taxed them on all utility fees associated with their water service. They also claim they attempted to settle the matter quietly, but the city would never respond. Mayor Ollie Tyler, in a recent forum, said that if something is wrong or something wrong has been done, she'll look into it when she's reelected. Officials in Washington, D.C. breathing a sigh of relief after a face-off between white nationalists and counter-protesters did not result in any major violence. Police Chief Peter Newsham says they learned important lessons from the tragedy in Charlottesville.
You know, down in Charlottesville, the night before their rally, there were hundreds, maybe even thousands of folks that descended upon the city, and that could happen here as well. So, you always have to plan for the worst and hope for the best. And we were planned and we were ready.
Last year's Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville saw violent confrontations between the two groups. The average price for regular unleaded gas edges up 2 pennies over the past couple of weeks to $2.93. That's according to analyst Trilby Lundberg, who says some relief could be on the way thanks to higher supply and lower demand.
The high average in this panel of cities is San Francisco, 369 for a regular grade, and the low is Jackson, Mississippi, 253.
She says the U.S. and some OPEC countries are stepping up production, which could bring down the price for consumers. Archie Lee Thomas has died in an accident involving a homemade go-kart. Thomas was allegedly riding his self-built go-kart through Shreveport's Cedar Grove neighborhood when he hit a curb at a high rate of speed and was thrown into a light pole. The accident remains under investigation. Legendary R&B singer Aretha Franklin is apparently near death. Doctors have warned her family members they should prepare for her end. Brooks Koepka wins a PGA championship by 2 shots, holding off a late charge by Tiger Woods, who finished second. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. The Jack Spring Electric Shockbuster button is red and it's large. And we'll stop right there, but we're glad to have it.
We are.
I sort of got this in my head, and I've been making notes for a couple of days, and it's sort of an offshoot, it's sort of phase 2 of what I brought up a couple of weeks ago about should national political issues affect the Shreveport mayor's race.
Mm-hmm.
And the topic I brought up specifically was globalism, what's called free trade, because there is no place in America, as I've pointed out a couple of times, no place in America that is more a result, sadly, of what happens when businesses, look, I can't think of the clothing manufacturers, Steve Graff will tell you. It was where he used to work.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a factory in the USA and you can move it to, say, theoretically Mexico,
Right.
cut your operating expenses, your operating costs by 2/3, and still sell your stuff in the USA for the same price you sold it when you had your factory in the USA, why wouldn't you move?
Why wouldn't you?
They did. They did. It's called GM. It's called AT&T. It's called whatever the clothing company. There's any number. So when you say, these big national issues, I just don't see where they have much to do with our race here in Shreveport, the mayor's race. Maybe, in fact, they do. And the point I'm going to make is, we'll get to this over the next couple of days.
Okay.
Here, hold on a second. I've got the headline, and I'll just read a couple of, hold on, this is pretty good. It's from Washington Examiner, and the headline is, How Louisiana Became a Tax Hiking Outlier in the South. And it talks about, well, here, I got a second or two. Louisiana is an outlier in the southeast region of America when it comes to tax policy. While most states in the region are cutting taxes, Louisiana has raised them. And it talks about Florida and Texas and Mississippi and Arkansas all cutting taxes and making the state, as it were, more business friendly. And while here in Louisiana, meanwhile in Louisiana, Governor John Bel Edwards is taking his state in the opposite fiscal direction of his neighbors. So the question is this. There is right now an economic boom in the USA. The analogy, the metaphor I use is it's like being at an exhibition baseball game where there's 40 people, and if you don't get a foul ball, you're not really trying.
Right.
So the question is, as the economy around America, what do we got, a GDP of 4.1, 4.3, I forget, as the unemployment rate across the board in all demographics drops and drops and drops. What is it we in Louisiana, what are we missing? What is the state doing? What legislation has come out of Baton Rouge recently that may, in fact, be causing us economic difficulties here in Shreveport? So in much the same way that open borders or free trade can, in fact, as national issues affect us here in Shreveport, look around, they have.
Sure.
Has the legislation, has the political stances, has the taxation that's coming out of Baton Rouge recently, is that, in fact, going to be a detriment to us as a city, not only a city, but a state, but specifically Shreveport, because we're talking about the mayor's race? Is that going to be something that is going to hinder whoever is the next mayor when they go to pitch Shreveport? Oh, wait, you guys are in Louisiana. FC, fat chance, buddy. 839, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic update. Ruben's ready.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Milam Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we still have some backed-up traffic on Airline Drive just north of Brownlee Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Ooh. Mrs. Cotter, 1017
Yes.
FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. You just went, oh, like, uh-oh, what happened in there?
Oh, just something was too long. A recording bit I was trying to record was too long, so I
Right.
got to trim it.
Okay, just
Inside baseball
looking
stuff.
Interesting you brought that up, because this is something I've been meaning to talk about since last week, and I have people ask me about this all the time. And it is, I was thinking about doing it twice, so maybe we'll do it again, talk about this again tomorrow morning in the 6 o'clock hour. Somebody was asking me over the weekend, and I get questions about this all the time, about the KEEL signal for AM, for FM, for the stream, and all kinds of stuff like that. And I want to take this segment to sort of run through some things so people will understand.
Right.
Okay, KEEL 710. Was that kilocycles, monocycles,
yeah.
drillocycles? I forget what it is. But 710 on the AM dial.
Right. Where we've always been.
We are 50,000 watts during the day from sunrise to sunset.
Big stick.
50,000 watts non-directional. Now, because of atmospheric conditions, 50,000 watts during the day does not go as far as 50,000 watts at night.
Right.
And we'll talk about that in a second. But KEEL AM 710 during the day is 50,000 watts non-directional. The signal goes in every direction. At sundown, at sunset, we become 5,000 watts directional to the south.
Right.
If you've been up there on North Market and Highway 1, you see
Benton Road, yeah.
that line. No. where the towers are.
Right.
Not on Benton Road.
Oh.
On North Market, going up Highway 1. You'll see that perfectly aligned stretch of antenna.
Right. I know what you're talking about now.
That's the KEEL antenna. That's the KEEL towers. And we are protecting at sunset, because they were there first, KCMO in Kansas City, which is also 710 a.m. To the degree that we are so directional to the south that at night, sunset, when we go to nighttime power, 5,000 watts directional south, you can get about 800 yards north of those towers and not hear KEEL anymore. And that's that's just the way back in the old days, like in the 1930s or whenever, that the FCC set it all up.
Right.
Now, back in the old days, when KEEL AM first went on the air, and we were 5,000 watts directional south at night, which left a huge void in North Shreveport and to a great degree out east going toward Houghton because of the nighttime pattern. We, for years, not going back like 50 years, but in the last, 5, maybe 7 years,
exactly,
had filed with the FCC for what is called an FM repeater, i.e. to simulcast our AM programming
on the FM dial.
On the FM dial.
Right.
That's called, it's not a full power AM, I'll get to that, although it sure sounds like it.
Sounds awesome.
It's called an FM repeater. When we finally got the FCC approval for 1017 FM repeater, specifically targeted at the voids, the nulls in the AM nighttime signal. When we first turned 1017 on, we got phone calls from Houghton saying, I didn't even know you guys were on at night. Yeah, we are. You just couldn't hear us.
Sure.
So basically, what 1017 FM does is fill the void in the AM nighttime signal, i.e. North Shreveport, North Bossier, and East Bossier Parish toward Houghton.
Exactly.
The reason it was originally set up like that by the FCC for the AM signal is because 50 years ago, nobody lived there. Well, as Shreveport has grown and the population has expanded to the north, North Shreveport, even more specifically in the last 10 to 15 years.
North Bossier's booming.
North Bossier.
Big time.
And Houghton to the east.
Absolutely.
We had tens of thousands of residents
who couldn't hear us in the evening,
that our signal on AM was not reaching.
Right.
And so we made the case to the FCC to give us what's called the FM repeater, 1017 FM, specifically targeted at North Shreveport, North Bossier, and Houghton.
Put your radio in your car at 101.7, listen to it for a while, and then set the thing. Lock it in on one of your settings because you're going to come back.
Now, here's the deal. Our engineer staff, our Rick the engineer, Troy the engineer, and the IT guy, we have in the back, it's called the rack room.
Oh, yeah.
And it is about $250,000 or more of audio equipment.
All kinds of gadgets.
And it boosts signals and makes them sound better, and it's compressors and equalizers and jacker uppers.
Satellite stuff, yeah.
And it costs a lot of money. And the point being that the job that they've done on 1017, so that little bitty, relatively speaking, FM signal extends beyond the originally targeted North Shreveport, North Bossier, and east toward Houghton. I literally can hear 1017 FM everywhere all the time. I live in southeast Shreveport. I'm off Fly Lucas Road. You can hear it there all the time. That is, in great part, testimony to the great work they've done.
Absolutely.
Staying within the FCC guidelines on what you can set all your equipment at.
Sure.
I just wanted to clear that up because there are days and I'm not making this up, because of sunspots or clouds or weather or a million reasons that it always doesn't come through as clearly as it does at other times.
Yep.
Because it's not a full power, million-watt FM like so many are. And I just wanted to take about 5 or 6 minutes and clear that up for people who didn't quite understand sometimes you can't get it great everywhere you are.
Let me add to that. If perchance you're going to be out of our region and out of our signal range, I really, really urge you to download the KEEL app because they've got that thing humming too. And it's right there on your phone. You can listen to us if you're in Estonia,
Latvia, Lithuania,
Finland,
everywhere on the globe.
Uzbekistan.
Do you remember when we first turned that on? And
It is so cool.
I think it was my friend Carrie, who's in real estate. And we got a text from her one morning. She was on some great big business trip in China.
Mm-hmm.
And she was listening to us. It was like 4 in the afternoon.
Yep.
And 7 a.m. here, 4 p.m. there. And she was listening to us near the Great Wall of China.
Unbelievable. The app is free. It's not going to involve anything. Get it on your phone so you can carry us wherever.
Got to go. 849, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update. I think we have time. 3, 2, 1. Your money now is next. By the way, here's Ruben.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Milam Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we still have some backed-up traffic on Airline Drive just north of Brownlee Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
A new report says the average recent college graduate now owes $28,288 upon graduation. That's an increase of over $300 over last year's class.
This is exactly what happened during the housing bubble, except now it's with education. Look, if government gives money to students to spend on education, then students will be able and willing to spend more on that product. And universities, knowing that the funds are available, well, they just raise the tuition without worrying about whether students can afford it. It's a very ugly cycle.
We've taken the free market out of college education, and as a result, students are getting taken for a ride.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL and streaming live at KEELnews.com.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, it's 8:55. Went to see our boy Jason Maggio Saturday morning for a couple of seconds.
I'll still be back there this week.
I was a little early, so I stopped at McDonald's and got a caramel latte. It was awesome. Not at the kiosk. The McDonald's on Uri Drive.
You went to a Human?
Right. I always go to Humans. The McDonald's on Uri Drive. I'm sorry, on Bert Coons.
Okay.
Right in front of the Walmart.
Right.
It has people. And it has not kiosks, like computer order. When you go in there, what do you do? Or do you ever go to McDonald's? When you go...
I haven't been in a long time. The last time I went...
This is an extension.
I went to a computer.
It's an extension of our long-term conversation about self-checkout and how that's costing people in the Arklatex, hell, all over America, all over the world, jobs. They're not putting those in there to not replace people.
Right. My view is, if you're not a nice person to me, I'd rather deal with a computer. If you're not kind...
Do you sense sometimes that in the relatively early portion of the 21st century, either big companies, not to point fingers at anybody because I can sit here and name names all day, that big corporations, when they're training their new employees, they really don't teach customer service.
They don't.
And
but the truth be known, some people like Matt should never deal with the public.
What the hell?
They just don't belong.
We need a kiosk. Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. She's just kidding.
Of course.
Erin, you get over here and do this.
Here's Kim Commando.
With American kids by the millions headed back to school, here's the best way for first responders to get vital medical information when it's needed and to give moms and dads some peace of mind. Kim Commando with your Monday Consumer Tech Update. And it's Digital Life Hacks Week. A life hack is an insider's secret to getting things done better and faster. If there's a medical emergency, keep vital medical information available to professionals in your kids' smartphones. Apple phones have a built-in but little-known app called Medical ID. List your emergency contacts, phone numbers, and special instructions like allergies and current medications. Set the Medical ID app to show when the iPhone screen is locked. For Samsung and all Android phones, manufacturers may include a similar app. If your phone does not have an app, there's a $4 app in the Google Play Store that's pretty good. It's called One ICE. The letters ICE stands for In Case of Emergency. So there's some safety and peace of mind for the new school year. I'm Kim Commando. Over the years, Epson has earned my trust. And you'll see what I mean when you experience the economical Epson EcoTank 4750. This is a fantastic wireless all-in-one printer. My printer of choice because it's cartridge-free and comes with up to 2 years of ink in the box, enough to print up to 11,000 color pages, equivalent to 30 ink cartridge sets. And when it's finally time for ink, you easily refill the printer's ink tanks in seconds. I print from any iPhone, iPad, Android tablet, or smartphone, or even through my Wi-Fi network. EcoTank is a compact, space-saving printer that's truly cartridge-free. It's available everywhere. More information at Epson.com/EcoTankKim. And for a limited time through August 31st, get free overnight shipping when you use promo code EcoTankKim at checkout when you buy any EcoTank printer. That's Epson.com/EcoTankKim.
Offer valid within the 48 contiguous states. Exclusions apply, subject to availability.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Milam Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we still have some backed-up traffic on Airline Drive just north of Brownlee Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, turning hotter today with intervals of clouds and sunshine and a high of 94. Mainly clear, low 72 tonight. Partly sunny, high 95 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zare.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.